1, 2, 2, 1, 2. One, two, 1, 2. 1, 2. Good afternoon. Please find your seat. The ceremony will begin when the students line up under the arch behind the stage.
That's a pin thing too. You want to be dazzled. Did you wear silver because it's silver? Did you fall though? Or what did you do? On a boat.
Welcome to the commencement exercises for the class of 2026. At this time, we ask that you silence your cell phones. When the students enter the arch, we ask that you stand for the processional and remain standing for the singing of the national anthem and the alma mater.
Here he comes Nikki on the left. See him waddling? Boomer!
job. You had one job.
say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's bright glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Oh, we're from dear old Newton, the school to us most dear. It's the place we love the best, finest school in east or west, so we will hail the name we all revere. We love our alma mater, of her glories we will tell. In everything we take the lead, sport and thought and noble deed, and so for Newton we will give our yell. So here's to old Newton, loud we will sing. We'll tell her praises true to you, in every land they'll ring. Then here's to old Newton, the school we love best, till every purpose be fulfilled in NHS.
Good afternoon, friends, family, faculty, and fellow students. Welcome to the graduation ceremony for the class of 2026. My name is Haley Moridan, and you may be wondering what I'm doing standing up here today. I wasn't the president or the valedictorian, and I stand up here without any cords. But I am someone who found my own way to make an impact. I became the first golfer in school history to win an HWS title, and I was captain of the field hockey team that finished 23-2 and 5th in the state. But standing here today, I've realized no accomplishment outweighs another. Looking behind me, I see hundreds of stories just like mine, people who found their own paths, overcame challenges, and made their mark in ways that may not have always been recognized. As graduates, no matter what mark you made, none of us arrived here alone. Behind every diploma is a support system that helped us become the people we are today. To our parents, families, teachers, coaches, and everyone who has supported us along the way. Whoa, my gosh. All right. Thank you for being here today. Hold on, technical difficulties. For being part of this moment. You were all there for the victories we celebrated and the setbacks we overcame. You were the ones who reminded us to keep going when things got difficult, who encouraged us to take chances, and who pushed us to become better versions of ourselves. As we move forward, we should never forget the other people who helped us get here. Along the way, our friends became more than just classmates. They became our family. Even their parents became people we could count on, cheering us on from the sidelines, opening their homes, and supporting us through some of the most important years of our lives. Everyone says it takes a village. Our village is one of the greatest gifts we will carry with us in years to come. I also have the unique privilege of graduating alongside my brother, Tyler, and I want to wish him the best of luck as he begins his journey into the Coast Guard. I'm incredibly proud of him and the other graduates who have decided to serve our country, to take the support they've received and offer that support to not only our community at home, but across the nation and abroad. So today, as we celebrate the class of 2026, we leave here with the support of the families who raised us, the friends who stood beside us, and the community that believed in us. This moment belongs to you just as much as it belongs to us. Thank you. I would now like to introduce our first honorary speech delivered by Aidan Wortman, our 2026 class president.
Good afternoon, faculty, parents, family, friends, and most importantly, the class of 2026. Now, this is going to be kind of odd, but I want you to work with me on this one. Imagine for a second that I'm a genie, like the blue guy that comes out of the lamp and gives 3 wishes. Now, I have a confession, I'm not that great of a genie, so I can only give 1 wish. I can send you back in time to anywhere in the past 4 years to relive any positive moment. Where would you go? Now, I promise this will come back later and will be important, so just linger on that thought for a little bit as I continue my speech. These past 4 years have been some of the most transformative of our lives. I mean, we entered the school as freshmen, being, quite frankly, children, and now we leave this school as adults, entering the massive world ahead of us. During this school year, I've thought extensively about what is so special about this place that shapes us into who we are. I mean, there has to be something special. Look at the people beside me. Here we have extraordinary athletes, musicians, artists, debaters, and gifted minds, all in a group of less than 200 people. It was one day while I was sitting in the choir room, seeing people of all different backgrounds and origins talking and eating lunch together, that I came upon an epiphany. It is the people who make the people. At Newton High School, there's something very apparent that becomes visible the second you walk in. There's such a vibrant and accessible community for everyone to be a part of. It goes from even the small conversations in the hallway between geometry and English class, or the larger group efforts that this class has created. This class, with our tight-knit community, has accomplished so much by working together. We have raised thousands of dollars for trips, traveled to state and national competitions, and volunteered countless hours. By doing these things, something greater has been happening beneath the surface. By bonding together, we have instilled a sort of what I call a brave mentality. This, what I call it, is the mentality to work together to accomplish things greater than what could be done by simply the individual. I've also come to realize that this mentality has shaped us in a way that will not only impact us now, but in our future as well. Over the past 4 years, we've all walked through the same halls, experienced the same teachers, and spent 5 days a week bound together in the same environment. After tonight, and after we leave this building, we will make friends and become close to people, but the connections made here are unique as they run through shared experience. There's a term in cognitive psychology called a perceptual set. This is the predisposition that people have when they go about the world. When people have a similar perceptual set, they literally perceive the world around them similarly. Isn't that crazy? Through all of us having such similar experiences when it comes to attending the school, we have wired our brains to think in a way that is unique to us with similar core values and beliefs. As we move on with our lives, we will be faced with many obstacles. It's a given. However, deep down within all of us, we still have that brave mentality. We will still hold each other up, raise the standard, not be afraid to ask for help. We will still persevere despite our hats blowing away in the wind and our tassels falling off. Okay, so remember that genie thing at the beginning? Like I just said. Okay, so remember that genie thing at the beginning of my speech? That memory you remembered, I'm willing to bet that it probably includes at least one other person. In fact, I'm also willing to bet that that person it includes is at this graduation ceremony currently. That memory you remembered was formed through the bonds of community. People came together to form something that you cherish and would ask a genie to go back and relive. On a wider scale, think about the fact that you yourself are most likely in someone else's cherished memory, something that they'll go back to and remember. Well, sadly, I'm not a real genie, and I cannot bring you back to your fondest memory over the past 4 years. However, realize that those memories, they aren't forgotten. Despite not being able to go back and relive time with others, we can rest easy, knowing that we have helped shape each other's past and helped shape each other's future. And that, I think, is beautiful. Thank you, and congratulations to the class of 2026. You guys got this.
Greetings, fellow Braves, and I'd like to also welcome everybody to the 155th commencement ceremony of Newton Public Schools. Think about that number, 155 years of graduating students from a school system. There aren't many places in the state of New Jersey that can match that. Our Board of Education was formed in 1867, and to an old history teacher like myself, that year triggers the Civil War, which ended 2 years before Newton Board of Education was formed. So the reason that I bring all that up tonight is to recognize how special it is to be a part of history and be a part of this evening. When you're around for that long, there are a lot of traditions and long-standing practices that are formed. One of those traditions, we're going to ask for the cooperation of everybody tonight for a dignified commencement ceremony. A long time ago at Newton High School, it was established that while all individuals are important, the whole group is also very important, and we want to recognize and value our classmates and our classmates' families. Students will come up later on in the ceremony and ask you for your cooperation so that we hear everybody's name called during the announcement of our student graduates. So we will talk about them a lot tonight. It will mostly be a celebration of our graduates, but before that, I do have some other business to attend to. I would like to thank some people. I'm a big believer in team. Many of the greatest moments of joy in my life have come from being a part of a great team, a part of a team that succeeds and accomplishes great things. And our team here in Newton has helped these graduates reach this point. Behind me are some very, very accomplished people already, and behind me are some amazing success stories who've overcome so much to be here tonight. And that takes teamwork. I'd like to thank the Newton Board of Education, Dr. Piccirillo, and our district administration, as well as the Andover and Green district leaders and boards of education. Thank you, custodians, buildings and grounds, secretaries, cafeteria workers, nurses. There is no role on a team that is not important. I've always believed that whatever your role is on a team, if you do it well, you're very valuable. That could be a superintendent or a hall monitor. It has a big impact on the overall school environment and the accomplishments that we can have for our students. I will be honest, though. There are some roles that are bigger than others on teams. Not everyone can be Jalen Brunson or Karl Anthony Towns. A shout out to Knicks and Knicks fans out there. There you go. All right. A very big role is played by our families. I want to say thank you to the Newton, Green, and Andover families for all you've done over the past 12 plus years to get your student to this evening tonight. The hard work, the talks, the hugs, the rides, the money, the support, all makes a big difference. difference, and I truly believe that when schools and families are partners, anything's possible. Graduates and educators, let's give a round of applause to our families here tonight, please. The other major role player on this team is our educators. That's our teachers, counselors, paraprofessionals, really anyone that works in the school, but those people in the classroom and that support the classroom have done an amazing job with these students, not only this year, but over the last 4 years at Newton High School. I've been around to a few schools in my career, and bring up a sports analogy before. In sports, there are trades. I would not trade our staff at Newton High School for any staff around here. They do a fabulous job. Let's show some appreciation for our educators here tonight. Thank you. We do have 2 retiring staff from Newton High School this year. Again, neither a classroom teacher, both that we would consider a lesser role, but so important. One is Mrs. Karen Veely, who can't be here tonight. Mrs. Veely was an administrative assistant at Newton High School for 26 years. Anyone who's worked in a school knows that. They know more about the daily operations of the school, and if they weren't doing their job, the school would probably shut down. We appreciate all of Mrs. Veely's efforts over those 26 years. Thank you, Mrs. Veely. I believe Mrs. Licata is here. If she is, will she please stand up? Mrs. Licata, for 30 years at Newton High School, has fulfilled many roles. Most of them, those boots on the ground roles, where you're really rolling your sleeves up and working with kids. She has been a teacher assistant for the last 10 years, a job coach for special education students for 27 years, an assistant field hockey coach with Coach Bechtel. By the way, 23 titles in those 27 years. That's very impressive. She's a great teammate. We'll miss Mrs. Licata a lot. We're happy for her and her retirement. Congratulations, Mary Licata. Okay, we're also very proud to recognize some of our seniors who have chosen to serve our country by joining the armed forces. We are grateful for those that protect our freedoms around the globe and proud of our seniors that have chosen this path. Seniors, please stand when I call your name and remain standing. Tyler Bailey, United States Marines. Justin Barth, United States National Guard. Sean Carson, United States Marines. Lucas Conagundes de Oliveira. I butchered that, Lucas, and I practiced a long time. I'm sorry. United States Marines. Tyler Moridan, United States Coast Guard. Ethan Whitesell, United States National Guard. And Adam Yasik, United States Marines. Please remain standing as I invite all veterans to stand with them and active members of the military to stand with them that are here tonight. We thank you for your sacrifices and service for this great nation. Thank you very much. Now, at this time, I would like to present the class valedictorian and salutatorian. I would like to please invite Aiden Wortman and Sinead Carrick to the stage with their guidance counselors, Mrs. Howe and Mrs. Hart, for the presentation of the Newton High School salutatorian and valedictorian medals. The counselors will bestow the medals for salutatorian and valedictorian. Will Sinead Carrick's family please stand up? Mrs. Hart will now present a medal for salutatorian to our second-ranked student in the class of 2026, Sinead Carrick. Will Aiden Wortman's family please stand up? Mrs. Howe will now present a medal for valedictorian to Aiden Wortman, our first-ranked student in the class of 2026. Congratulations to Aiden and Sinead for your outstanding academic achievements at Newton High School. Good job, guys. And while Sinead's up here, I'm going to welcome her to the podium to read her honorary essay.
Good afternoon, family, faculty, friends, and the class of 2026. Throughout high school, I found myself questioning my identity, constantly asking, who am I? If you ask my friends, I'm a weird workaholic. If you ask my parents, I'm independent and loving. If you ask my coaches, I'm hardworking and positive. For a long time, I consistently looked to the people around me for the answer to this question, seeking to figure out what defines me as a person, as I'm certain many, if not most of us, have done. Sorry, very windy. We have tried to define ourselves and each other with labels, one or two word phrases that encapsulate someone's entire existence. Whether it is the athlete, the nerd, or the artist, we've all fallen victim to seeing people as a single characteristic. We searched for control in a constantly changing time in our lives, grasping for an understanding of what we truly mean to this world. We've all tried to live up to the label assigned to us by others or by ourselves. Around 5 months ago, I asked my mom, "Who are you?" She gave me a funny look and said, I'm Carrie, and continued to tell me I think too much. Well, I already knew that, but thanks, Mom. What I deeply admire about my mom is her presence and attitude. She's constantly in the moment, emphasizing the importance of just being. When she walks into a room, you can feel her confidence radiating. She doesn't think of herself through labels. That's why I asked her, the person I thought could give me a clear answer. But instead, she just responded like she always does, with an answer I can never figure out until later. Ever since I walked into Newton High School my freshman year, I kept coming back to that question. I used to think that to understand who I am, I had to have a neat, boxed-in definition. This is actually what I wrote my college essay about, the overwhelming weight of labels. Over time, I grew accustomed to the words people used to describe me, letting single judgments shape how I saw myself, whether they were compliments, like optimistic, not so compliments, like annoying, or the one that resonated with me most, perfectionist. In fact, after writing this speech, I did what many of us do, ran it through an AI tool to polish the phrasing, transitions, and wording. I wanted it to be absolutely perfect for graduation. However, as I sat upon it, I realized something. I don't want a robot to smooth over my voice. We are so obsessed with fitting into the perfect label or achieving the perfect image that we willingly erase the things that make us human. So what if my work has some bumps and imperfect phrasing? I don't want to be a polished, fake version of myself. I want to be a good writer with her own voice, an articulate speaker. I do not want to be perfect, and you don't have to be either. When we live authentically, that is when we truly start to live. I have no doubt that we have all reached for our own label of perfection, whether through academics, a sport, an art, or any aspect of life. For me, pushing back against the label of perfectionist looked like going back and changing every phrase the AI altered back into my own. Now, this story is bigger than AI. I'm not claiming to know how the tool should or should not be used, but simply encouraging you to be imperfect. Be brave enough to make mistakes, and be even braver to go back and fix them. Stopping labels from defining who I am has been an ongoing process for me, and it's only left me with more questions. If we aren't just the simple words people use to describe us, then who are we? When you remove all the labels, what is left of us? The answer to this question did not come to me in a single realization, but by finally practicing what my mom taught me, just being. When I started just being, I started to notice the ordinary, beautiful moments of connection here at Newton. You are never just a single thing. You are a vibrant combination of all the experiences you have and the people you share them with. We are defined by the tiny details that make up our days. I am the feeling of seeing Savannah's face driving to school every single day, blasting music to wake ourselves up. I am the memory of seeing Samantha every afternoon at tennis, laughing at absolutely everything until our stomachs hurt. I am the gratitude of walking into a classroom and seeing Mrs. Clausen beaming, giving me the quiet encouragement that kept me going on the hardest days. Who are we without the moments of support in our daily lives? For some, that support came from family at home. For others, it was found right here in the hallways with friends who became family. Maybe your support was a single teacher who took the time after class to talk to you. There goes my cap, kind of. A coach who gave you the best advice, or just the energy of life at Newton High School that pushed you to keep going. No matter how you found your footing, none of us made it to these seats alone. We are a reflection of everyone and everything that held us up. But as we embark on the next journey, we have to realize that we aren't actually leaving these pieces of ourselves behind. Class of 2026, I challenge you to carry the spirit of this community with you. Be brave enough to discard the labels the world places on you. Be brave enough to be, to notice, to connect, and to allow yourself to be shaped by the communities you are a part of. No matter where life takes us next, the pride, laughter, and connections we build here will stay with us forever. Thank you, and congratulations to the class of 2026. It is now my pleasure to introduce our final honorary essay, given by Hirsch Brombut.
One of the first things I heard as a freshman was that the next 4 years will go by before you even know it. I didn't believe them at first, but yet, here we are. Think about who we were coming into freshman year. Some of us already knew people from sports or from growing up in the same town, and some of us walked in not knowing anyone at all. Either way, freshman year felt exciting and nerve-wracking, not knowing what these next 4 years were going to hold. And then they happened. Not all at once or in some big moment, but slowly, through everything we did together. Whether it was football games that felt like the whole town showed up, or clubs and extracurriculars where we found people with similar interests. Throughout all of these experiences, we grew closer. We became a community. It was all the small moments between these years that built this connection. Whether it was asking someone what you missed where you were out, or getting homework answers from a friend because you had other stuff going on. Saving a seat without being asked. Showing up to something you didn't care about because your friend did. These are the moments that made us. And now we're here 4 years later. We're still the same people, but somewhere between freshman year and tonight, we became something more. More than just classmates or familiar faces in the hallway, 4 years of showing up for each other has turned us into a family. So what now? We go and we scatter. We start new chapters in new places with new people who don't know what it means to be a brave. Being a brave means being an anchor, not only for the people you already know, but for the ones you haven't met yet. It means being the person who checks in when someone is quiet, the person who makes a new place feel a little more welcoming, the person who makes someone feel less alone, the same way Brave once did for you. Most importantly, being a brave isn't something you leave behind in Newton. It's something you carry into every new room, every new chapter, every new version of your life. And somewhere down the road, when things get hard or the world feels big, you can reach back and a brave will reach for you. Whether you came to Newton for 1 year or have lived here your whole life, you leave with a village behind you, the support of past, present, and future Braves always. As Oliver Wendell Holmes said, "Where we love is home, home that our feet may leave, but not our hearts." Our feet are leaving Newton, but a brave never really does. Once a brave, always a brave. Thank you.
So the theme for tonight's ceremony, Once a Brave, Always a Brave, is essentially a theme of community. And this was clearly stated in the intelligent, creative, and eloquent speeches by Aiden, Sinead, and Hirsch. Earlier in the ceremony, I spoke of traditions, and another amazing tradition, in my opinion, is that at Newton High School, any student can audition to speak at the graduation ceremony. No titles required. We had several brave students submit an audition to speak today. The speeches that were submitted were excellent, unique in their own way, but same in that they emphasized and valued community. I'd like to share some of the words submitted by the other students who auditioned for speeches. And there's kind of a past, present, and future theme. Tyler Casper, his speech had a tone a little bit about the past, looking back at the Newton Brave community that he became a part of. He said, being a Brave is a reminder that wherever we end up, we will always have friends that we have made and the lessons we have learned and the community we have built to draw on and come back to. Haley Moradant's speech had more of a present tone. Being a Brave, she said, isn't about perfect grades, scoring the winning point, or getting the most recognition. It's about showing up for the people around you, even on the hard days. Showing up for each other is certainly a very important part of a strong community. Addison Hardin's speech was really looking more to the future and back to the present. She cleverly penned, though the path may seem scary, none of us will ever be alone. As we plant seeds beyond our school's walls, growing new flowers and flourishes throughout the world. We will always share one common trait. We are Newton Braves. I'm so proud of our graduates for understanding and expressing the importance of community. I am also not surprised at this. In my 2 years at Newton High School, I have learned that building community is perhaps the greatest strength of our staff and students. While we are all a part of the Brave community, there exist so many sub-communities for students to find their place at Newton High School. If a student is willing to try, and as Haley stated, show up, they will find their place and their people, be it athletics, music, the arts, FFA, FBLA, robotics, Save Club, Emoja. I could go on and on. We even have a Dungeons and Dragons club at Newton High School. Everyone has the opportunity to connect with others and belong to a group. And today, more than ever, social interaction and human connection needs to be valued and encouraged. When I mention the name Abraham Maslow, every educator here probably and all the mental health professionals will know about Maslow and his work from the 1940s, a theory of human motivation. His theory led to a hierarchy of needs for humans to develop and thrive. And though modern psychology has updated how we apply this theory, modern professionals still agreed on the universal needs that Maslow identified 80+ years ago. Essentially, those universal needs are food, shelter, safety, and social connection. We need these to fully and properly grow into our best selves and our most developed selves. I could stand up here on a soapbox today and preach about the dangers of artificial intelligence and social media, but that would not really be appropriate for this ceremony. And while these fast-moving and amazing technologies improve our lives, in the end, what we as human beings need more than anything else is food, shelter, safety, and each other. I am proud of our graduates for the strong sense of community that they leave here with today, and I encourage them to continue to build strong communities and eventually pass on the value of showing up for each other to the next generation. I'd like to say congratulations to the Newton High School class of 2026. Dr. Piccirillo, I certify that the students before you have successfully met all of the graduation requirements set by the state of New Jersey for an accredited high school. It is my honor to proudly present to you the Newton High School graduating class of 2026.
Oh, good evening, families, faculty, friends, members of the Board of Education, and most importantly, the graduates of Newton High School's class of 2026. Please join me in one more round of applause. What a day it has been. I must confess, standing before you, my head is still spinning because just hours ago, our students communicated with astronauts at the International Space Station. The experience highlighted our smallness amidst a vast universe, and yet seeing those NASA astronauts and USA flags evoked out of me a sense of solidarity, patriotism, and pride. I joke that outside of hot dogs and baseball, there really is nothing more quintessentially American than NASA. It embodies the spirit of exploration, curiosity, and perseverance, and a perfect way to celebrate our country's upcoming birthday. So much has changed in 250 years. When the Founding Fathers were debating the future of this republic, they certainly couldn't have predicted the internet, smartphones, and AI, but even then, they knew the importance of education. Because they knew that for our country to be successful, it needed to be filled with good people, and schools were the way to do that. Thomas Jefferson believed education was about forming character and virtue, shaping the whole child, long before we used that phrase in our mission statement. Reflecting on the 250 years of America and our founding fathers, I find myself connecting to my own American story. My family came to this country through Ellis Island in 1917 from southern Italy, and I'm in fact a dual citizen. My grandfather, Anthony Rocco Piccirillo, was born in Paterson just a few years later. He was a true man of the 20th century, a World War II veteran. He fought in the Battle of the Bulge, a teamster who drove a truck for decades, a husband and father, and a man who did all of that with an 8th grade education. He may not have known philosophy or physics, but he personified the hopes of our founding fathers. He had great character, virtue, and purpose through faith, patriotism, loyalty, and hard work. When I was young, my grandfather taught me a lot about life through our family's cultures and traditions. One memory I hold was his annual Christmas-time phrase, where he would say, "How do you look at the Christmas tree?" And he would make us close our mouths, step back, put our hands behind our back, and look up at the tree. Of course, he was potentially just trying to make sure we didn't knock over the tree and break the ornaments, but in that moment, I learned about reverence, restraint, the power of silence, and the joy of wonder and awe. Even when he wasn't teaching through his words, my grandpa taught through his actions. He loved to garden and cook, and he loved music. Sinatra could always be heard in the house, as long as the radio wasn't already playing Ralph Snod Smith of the Garden Hotline or the booming baritone of John Sterling through the static hiss of WABC. Yes, there we go. Baseball and food. There is nothing more American, and nothing is a better pedagogical tool. Our district's mission statement today echoes the 18th century hope of Jefferson. It says, in part, that we expect you to pursue excellence in all of your actions and grow in virtue. But to do that, we need to motivate you to fan the flame that would illumine your future paths. But how? Well, as I learned firsthand from my grandfather and was later articulated by Timothy Dolan, if you want to teach someone to love baseball, you don't start with the infield fly rule. You don't start with the dry mechanics or the technicalities. You start by taking them to the stadium. You buy them a hot dog and Cracker Jacks. You smell the freshly mowed grass. You hear the roar of the crowd, the crack of the bat, and you feel the energy of the game. You entice them with this experience of the transcendental, the true, the good, and the beautiful. And that's what my grandfather did. But I suppose if I'm honest, and I am using a bit of creative license, because my grandfather never would have bought food at Yankee Stadium. Having lived through the Depression, he could never bring himself to pay the $2.50 that a hot dog was worth in 1989. He actually, my grandmother used to always pack a cooler filled with the greatest Italian-American food, but I don't think they let you bring gagoots and egg sandwiches into Yankee Stadium nowadays. My grandpa often used food as a measure for relationships. If he didn't know someone well, he would say, "You know, I never had a cookie in that house." To him, food was a gateway to the transcendental. It was a sign of communion, a sacramental experience where the good, the act of service, the true, the authenticity of the bond, and the beautiful, the meal itself, all met. He toiled over food preparation. There was no DoorDash then. He grew the vegetables himself. He had the eels swimming in the tub. It's true. He and my grandmother, Gloria, would cook for hours. But the work was not something to get through. In many ways, it was something unto itself. In many ways, it was itself the thing. It was the work that made the food taste better once you were done. In baseball, John Sexton famously taught a course at NYU entitled Baseball as a Road to God, and he wrote a book by the same name in 2013. And in his book, he showed many ways that attract us, and I imagine my grandfather, to baseball, and they have profound significance in our lives. First, all sorts of people can play, and all sorts of people can succeed. Some of the greatest Yankees hardly fit the classic description of athleticism. Think Babe Ruth, Yogi Berra, Phil Rizzuto. But it's not always the smartest or most talented who succeed. Success comes from those who work hard, understand their role in the team, and put the team in the best position to win. Also, there's no time in baseball. The game can always be won. In other sports, you play against the clock. While all sports have an element of inherent hope or the unknown, in basketball, for instance, even Jalen Brunson probably couldn't win down 20 points with 1 minute to go. But in baseball, the game is never out of reach. There's always a 2-out, ninth-inning rally that's possible, and it can go both ways. Sometimes you get the walk-off hit, and sometimes you give it up. So I remember all these great moments as a Yankee fan, but I also remember Luis Gonzalez in 2001. Not great. But as Yogi would say, it ain't over till it's over. Also, even the best success comes with a ton of failure. In baseball, the best hitters still fail 7 out of 10 times. Harmon Killebrew had a lifetime average of .256, but he hit 573 home runs. He's in the Hall of Fame. So don't be discouraged by the swings that miss. Just keep getting in the box, keep swinging, and make that swing count. Also, sacrifice is important. Not sure if my grandfather learned this from his faith, his military service, fatherhood, or baseball, but I love the baseball term, the productive out. Sometimes the team benefits from you when you can move the runner into better position to score, even if it means getting out yourself, and even if it means that the glory of the RBI goes to the next batter. And coming home. That is the point of baseball after all, isn't it? Coming home. Many of you will be headed to college, careers, or the military in the coming weeks and months. Many of you will be leaving home for the first significant time in your life. But keep in mind that Newton will always be your home. Once a brave, always a brave. You will always have a family of people who love you, support you, and wish you the best. We will always be here for you, even when you are far away. And we know you will carry what you've learned with you here in Newton, the memories, the experiences, the friendships, with you wherever you go. That's what my family did. They left their home in 1917, but they found a new home in New Jersey. Was it the same? No. But they grew to love both homes. We ate lasagna with our turkey. And now, my own family today has added arroz con gandules to the table. All right, cheer for that. But it's not lost on me that in baseball, home is defined as a plate. Home plate. Maybe my grandfather knew something about that. Maybe he knew that home was not a place at all, but relationships. Shared over a game, a meal, with a prayer, and over times of trial, adversity, joys, and successes. Our forefathers knew that education was important. They didn't know everything about science, math, or history. Both Thomas Jefferson and my grandfather never would have imagined that we would have spoken today to people from outer space. And yet it happened. When my ancestors looked up at the stars from the Amalfi Coast, or when Thomas Jefferson looked up at the stars from Monticello, they didn't look at those stars through meta glasses. They didn't immediately go to AI on their phone to figure out what they were looking at. Instead, they wondered. They viewed the stars the way my grandfather taught me to view the Christmas tree. They were quiet. They were in awe. They were reverent, and they were full of wonder. They wondered about their smallness in a big world. They wondered about their role in life and how to serve others. They wondered about the true, the good, and the beautiful, and they appreciated the relationships they built around them. Looking at the stars and into space today reminded me of a famous scene from one of my favorite operas, Philip Glass's Einstein on the Beach. It goes, "How much do I love you? Count the stars. Measure the waters of the ocean with a teaspoon. Number the grains of sand on the seashore. For my love for you is higher than the heavens, deeper than Hades, and broader than the earth. It has no limits, no bounds. Everything must have an ending except my love for you." And I suppose that is my message today. Today is an ending, but love continues. Baseball, space, food, family, America, and Newton High School. They each express an experience of collective love, a feeling of home which cannot be measured by AI, by analytics, but in your heart. Don't be the Cleveland Cavaliers coach Kenny Atkinson after the Knicks whooped your butt and say that analytically you actually won the game. Rather, live in the moments, not the numbers. Lose with dignity and win with humility. But no matter what, make sure you play the game and play with heart, with virtue, and with love. And always remember where your home is. Graduates, I'm proud of you. You know a lot of things. You've accumulated more college credits, seals of biliteracy than the previous graduating classes. You've scored tremendously on AP tests. You've achieved at the highest level in athletics and in your clubs and activities. But tonight, as you look up at the stars, and as you attend those 4th of July barbecues in the coming weeks, what I am most proud of is that you understand what is most important, the immeasurable things. Whatever's true, honorable, just, pure, lovely, whatever's commendable, if there is any excellence, if there's anything worthy of praise, think about these things. These are the things you know. These are the things you've learned, and these are the things AI cannot teach you. Congratulations, class of 2026. You will always have a home here. Once a brave, always a brave. Thank you.
Okay, earlier in the ceremony, I spoke of a long-standing tradition of a dignified commencement ceremony. I'm going to call 4 students up to the podiums now to speak to the audience and ask for your cooperation to uphold this long-standing tradition. Please welcome Kate Shishkovsky, Messiah Bent, Maylee Cardona, and Elias Gomez.
Damn.
Good afternoon. My name is Kate Shishkovsky.
And I am Messiah Bent.
Many of you here today have never attended a Newton High School graduation. It is like no other. The ceremony is always dignified, solemn, and befitting the class. In a few moments, we will be receiving our diplomas, and on behalf of our
Hello?
Is mine on? Oh. And on behalf of our class, I wish to ask that this year, as has been true in the past, the audience dignify our ceremony by not yelling or cheering when your graduate receives his or her diploma.
We would appreciate that you allow the name of each classmate to be heard. We certainly realize your excitement and enthusiasm. Sorry about that. We certainly realize your excitement and enthusiasm, and we share that with you. However, it is our graduation, and we ask for your consideration and thoughtfulness with this request. Please, do not yell out or disrupt our ceremony. the greatest gift you can give us is to uphold this tradition. We would like to remember you, the audience of 2026, as the audience of class and dignity.
Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Meili Cardona.
Mi nombre es Elías Gómez Reyes.
Muchos de ustedes están aquí hoy por primera vez en una ceremonia de graduación de la Escuela Secundaria de Newton. Es algo único. La ceremonia es digna y solemne. En unos momentos, cada uno de nosotros recibirá su diploma. En nombre de nuestra promoción, les pedimos respetuosamente que distribuyan a mantener la dignidad de nuestra ceremonia sin gritar ni aplaudir cuando su graduado reciba su diploma.
Les agradeceríamos que nos permitan escuchar el nombre de cada uno de nuestros compañeros en su totalidad. Entendemos su emoción y entusiasmo y lo compartimos. Sin embargo, esta es nuestra graduación y les pedimos amablemente su consideración y respeto a este pedido. Por favor, no griten ni interrumpan nuestra ceremonia. El regalo más valioso que pueden darnos hoy es dignificar nuestra ceremonia. Nos gustaría recordar a la audiencia de la clase de 2026 como una audiencia distinguida por su respeto, clase y dignidad. Gracias.
Anna Michelle Agnoli.
Huda Amir.
Caden Thomas Armstrong.
Leilani Marie Asensio.
Tyler Stephen Bailey.
Anna Julia Barreto.
Evangeline Grace Berry.
Justin Sebastian Barth.
Emerson Bejarano Estrada.
Taylor Benson.
Messiah Azani Tafarai Bent.
Jeremy Bangsun Benag.
Jack Joseph Baffa.
Justin Tyler Brady.
Hirsch Nayan Brumbut.
Sean Anthony Tony Brown.
Dylan Frederick Caniff.
Maylee J. Cardona.
Elijah Lee Thor Carlson.
Sean Patrick Carson.
Tyler James Casper.
Tyler Michael Catalano.
Ashley Cinto.
Meta Todd Chipialu.
Vincent Blaze Cipriano.
JC Ray Collins.
Lucas Conagundes de Oliveira.
Michael Christopher Cook.
Gianna Marie Cosgrove.
Troy Donahue Dawson Jr.
Sarah Elizabeth DeBrew.
Nicholas Charles Diorio.
Isabella Talia De Leon.
Nicolo Thomas Delisanti.
Hunter Daniel DeMartin.
Sabrina Manuela Santiago de Sosa.
Sarah Mayela Dietz.
Sean Gabriel Dietz.
Carly Madison Dolan.
Samantha May Ducharme.
Jasleen Figueroa Moya.
Logan Thomas Egner.
Lily Efremov.
Justin Avansky.
Matthew Perry Ellsworth.
Natasha Fernandez.
Max Alexander Fay. Max will be receiving his diploma from Newton Public Schools Board of Education Vice President Joni Fay.
Cooper Matthew Finley.
Riley Alexander Fleming.
Jordan Franco.
Gettle Friedman.
Noah Allen Facito.
Charles Raymond Fuller.
Joseph Galucci.
Zoe Dayanara Garay.
Sophia George.
Demetrius Jurgatsalis.
Nora Gill. Nora will be receiving her diploma from Newton Public School Board of Education member Megan Gill.
Elias Daniel Gomez Reyes.
Christabella Ann Hannon.
Mary Kate Greenhall.
Mackenzie Greenhall.
Addison Zandra Harden.
Caitlin Grace Harding.
Gannon Hurluk.
Savannah Ray Healy.
Simon Henry.
Kayla Hernandez Dominguez.
Douglas Anthony Hetzel.
Tatiana R. Hill.
Drew Everett Michael Huffman.
Sebastian S. Johnson.
River Rose Jordan.
JC Kerner.
Mia Kapatanakis.
Callie Kapitanakis.
Sinead Sunday Carrick.
Nicholas Ryan Kurilko.
Jack Daniel Leatham.
Jason Xavier Lee.
Victoria Lillian Locasio.
Pavo Carl Majikowski.
Allison Mafia.
Vincent Joseph Mancuso.
Ryan Marshall.
Madison Blair Martell.
Anthony Martinez Jr.
Steven Martinez.
Crystal Marie Maynard.
Jalen Kasim McClure.
Jacob Robert McConnell.
Corinne Maloney.
Zoe Reese Mills.
Jaden Isaiah Mims.
Vanessa Caitlin Moody.
Ashley Moretta Luciano.
Haley Moridan.
Tyler Moridan.
Edward Muldoon.
Nancy Angelina Narvaez.
Hannon Rose Neal.
Caitlin Hope Neal.
James Matthew Nichols.
Madeline Sue Nolan.
Ava Faith Novosel.
Charles Martin Nuara.
Onyi Kira Obasi.
Alexander Marcelino Palma.
Sakir Angel Paul.
David Paz.
Trevor Peterson.
Thomas Phillips.
Riley Ann Poff.
Caitlin Poquiva.
Courtney Grace Post.
Maria Anwar Karmut. Maria will be receiving her diploma from Newton Public School Board of Education member Lisa Karmut.
Tyler Jose Ramos Haggerty.
Johnson Fernando Raxpop.
Savannah Raymond.
Charles Riley.
Ian Rivera.
Liliana Maritza Rivera.
Jaden Roberts.
Camilo Rodriguez.
J. Lee Rosado.
Wesley Charles Riker.
David Andrew Sable. David will be receiving his diploma from Newton Public Schools Board of Education member Julie Fahey.
Lily Socelli.
Aubrey Lynn Soller.
Devlin Schmid.
Salvatore Anthony Cirillo.
Brandon Isaiah Serrano.
Kate Shushkovsky.
Kamiko Sibley's.
Shayeja Smallwood.
Zachary Smith.
Zachary Ryan Smith.
Emily Southard.
Sarah Beth Steinwand.
Lucas Straub.
Ariana Nicole Strappa.
Lainey Stutz.
Daniela Camila Tavera Gomez.
Tamara Taylor.
John Albert G. Tinio.
Evelyn Anali Tool Rax.
Caesar Dominic Toribio.
Emma Mary Trout.
Vanessa Van Houten.
Jose Abel Vasquez.
Jacqueline Ann Vina.
Isaac Weber.
Ethan I. Weitzel.
Brad Michael Williams.
Aiden Wortman.
Ryan Whittick.
Lainey Lynn Wazinski.
Jordan J. Young.
Rachel Lee Yasuk.
Adam Robert Yasik.
Olivia Grace Youngs.
Jalen Zabalos. Ladies and gentlemen, I am proud to present the graduating class of 2026.